A report card with no answer key is just anxiety. Last week we found it, and this week we'll be reading it line by line so a low flag tells you exactly where to look. I am your host tutor, Dr. Prince Baawuah. Let us get into today's by opening the card. As we open the report card, the redesigned report card has three sections. The section 1A is an operational performance, and it's helping you to ask the question, are you submitting encounters that are clean? Section 1B here goes through the top edits, what's actually getting your records rejected. And section 2A and 2B looks at your volume performance. How is your volume compared to peers and compared to fee for service? Since 2019 redesign, CMS have been including the machine readable form and the EDR shown separately from chart reviews. And then there's also a technical notes that helps you to better understand and align your report card. We'll be looking at section 1A and the four numbers that really matter. The first number is the frequency of submissions versus your size required cadence. Last week, we looked briefly at that on if you are a large plan, CMS expects you to be submitted weekly. If you're a medium plan, CMS expects you to be submitted bi-weekly. If you're a small plan, then CMS is expecting you to submit monthly. And this is 100,000 or over 100,000. This is between 100K. And then this is less than 50K of your enrollees. Secondly, submission accepted, final action, and rejected data, total and by service type. This is the rejection shown at both the record, the header, and also at the line level. The encounter data records and chart review records are reported separately for the last 5 quarters, and they are benchmarked against the average of your contract size and your organizational type. The next slide is going to take us a little deeper into that. So for 1A, the four numbers that matter, for example, if we're looking at EDRs that are submitted, so every EDR you send per beneficiary, CMS have grouped them per beneficiary so that it is easier for comparison. CMS is looking at accepted. These are records that were submitted to the encounter data system and they were accepted at the header level on your MAO 002 reports. Final action is the next one. CMS is looking if the record has a final action equal to yes, meaning that if, for example, you have one record was original and it hasn't been replaced or voided, this has a final action yes. If there are subsequent records that have been submitted to it, let's say you replace this record here with a second record, then this record is no more final action, but this is final action. So in the accepted record, both of them were accepted. So you have 2 records, but final action, this is only 1 record. So you get the chance to look at this from that perspective as well. Another area is you're looking at records that were rejected, meaning on the EDPS MAO 002, these records were rejected with a rejection code. And if you are new to this, we dealt with EDPS accepted and rejected records way back before. So you can look at our playlist on accepted, rejected records in EDPS. And all 4 are shown by professional, by institutional, and by DME. The professional and the DME comes in 837p, institutional comes with 837i, and you can leverage your submitter. The payer IDs that are being submitted on the 837s to really identify these records. Those are the 4 numbers that you need to know on your report card in section 1A. In section 1B, CMS also reports to you your top edits, the most actionable panel. So you have the top 5 edits based on the 277 CA and your top 5 edits based on MAO 002. You can see from here that the 277 CA here, our edits are there, and the MAO2 are here. And each edit has the edit code, has description, the rank, and encounters that have been affected. You should have gotten all these before in your submission pipeline, but CMS is re-reporting these to you, and the number of encounters affected is just so that you have an idea to better your submissions. The row numbers you'll see here, the invalid HIP codes, for example, and then they are reported monthly, year to date, and And this helps us to bridge into week 3 that we'll be looking deeper into. Section 2A and 2B also look at volume. The final action records only, and note this one, this is final action records only across the last 3 service years. These are put together in per beneficiary to help with comparison, and your plan is compared with MA National, MA Regional, and similar contracts that looks like you, so that you can make that. These are machine readable form that you can pull into an Excel or your data analytics platform to be able to look at this. These are also broken down into the 6 service types, even much more: professional, inpatient, outpatient, DME, home health, and SNF. And then there is a table that helps with navigating, as well as the bar charts if you prefer to look at the graph version of it, that you are able to look at it. And here is it. Per CMS's communications, the cards help plans to review where submission patterns appear particularly low. So this is a relative comparison to you and your peers in fee-for-service, not a fixed passing score, but it helps you to compare yourself to what others are doing. And it helps to give you pointers to either look here or look there. Not that you failed or you passed, but places to look at as you continue to make your encounter data submission processes very robust. So low volume against fee-for-service yardstick can particularly be diagnosis that you may not be capturing, because if you are not submitting all encounters, complete encounters, potentially can also affect your risk score and your payment in the diagnoses that are being captured. With that, we will end for today, and for next week, we'll be going deeper into 1B, which edits particularly can we look at some of the gaps that we can leverage for reconciliation, looking at the chain of reconciliation, the TA1 999-277 CA, MAO1, MAO2, and you want to subscribe so that you do not miss anything from us. And before you go, if you are not already on our email list or you have not received your free signature gift, you go to our website, go.thehealsacademy.com, and you are able to get from Chaos to Clarity, the one-page comparison cheat sheet that compares the risk adjustment data sources for you for free, side by side. Thank you for joining us. Otherwise, I will catch you same time next week. Bye for now.